Thank you for having me. I never imagined I will be here in this stage to share my experience. Look at this girl. She was young, healthy, independent, and active. As a pharmacy student, she had the dream to become an adventurous scientist, working in the middle of the jungle and exploring thousands of local herbal plants throughout Indonesia. Can you guess? She's me. Unfortunately, my dream was shattered because of mountain accident on 11 September 1993, about 30 years ago. I was trained for mountaineering expedition, but finally fell on a valley. I couldn't remember what happened, but the one thing that I remember, I feel my spine very painful. The accident happened in the morning, and I was admitted to the hospital at 6 p.m. So can you imagine, I bear pain for almost 12 hours at the hospital, and then I underwent several surgeries. The first surgery to release blood from my lungs, and the second surgery to insert iron along my spine. So I entitled to be an iron lady. I was just lying on bed. Even I have to start learning how to breathe, because when I breathe, then blood come out from my lungs. Again, I didn't know what happened with me until one day a doctor said and explained that I had spine cord injury. My thoracic level at 7 to 9 injured badly. So this is the reason why I would to stay at wheelchair for entire of my life. I didn't say anything because I was still believe on miracle. So after 40 days at the hospital, I was discharged. So I was confused. Where should I stay? And what should I do? At the time, I feel very lonely because friends start to leave. They are busy with their business and study. So I was at the lowest level of my life. So I regretted everything that has happened. I lost my hope. So how I can continue my life without helping someone else? How I can continue my study? How I can realize my dream? So in this point, I asked myself, so why am I alive? Why did God just let me die? Why did God just let me pass away? So for me, life was so unfair because I think that I was a good girl. I never done bad thing. But why me? So I was so angry. The only thing that I can do was crying every night. Until one day, my senior, who later became my husband, asked me, "Are you tired of crying all the time? And if you cry, will you ever to walk again?" I was silent. But I'm thinking, of course, I cannot wait for the miracle. I can wait for the other medical done for me. But I think I have something to do. I wanted my parents proud of me. So I told to him, I want to continue my study after having a break for 1 semester. It wasn't easy to come back to study because when I was hospitalized, the dean came and asked me to transfer to other faculty. It wasn't enough. They invited my parents to school and to show how the barriers may I have. So when my parents came back home and he told me, so this is impossible for me to continue your study. Please come back with me to hometown. And I asked my father, please give me a chance. I will continue my study. And they trust me. So finally, and then I continue my study at pharmacy. But due to physical and negative barrier from the school, only 1 semester, and then I decided to move to Faculty of Economics in accounting major. Still, I faced physical barrier because in 1994, the lift was rare. So someone has to lift me up to the classroom at the second and third floor. So thank to my friend, my colleague who helped me to lift me up to the classroom. And I survived. After 4 years, I completed my study and I found my passion that I love learning and share, because at the time I also become a tutor to help my colleagues who find difficulties on learning. And when they pass the subject successfully, I was so happy. So I decided to be a lecturer. Once I complete my degree, and then I pursue my dream. I applied for a lecturer position, but I was rejected. So I tried the next year until 5 consecutive years with the same reason of rejection. I also tried to apply for another job, but still rejection. And then in 2004, I applied for civil servant in Surabaya government, and again, I was rejected. So all the reason of rejection is because I am on a wheelchair. So what's wrong with disabled people? I am applying for a job, a lecturer job, who needed my brain. I'm not applying for football player. So from this point, I realized that I am different. So people see differently to me because I'm using a wheelchair, and they expected that disabled people is incapable to do anything. So from this point, I promised myself that I have to fight more. So I filed suit to the courts in order our generation experience like mine. The court won this case, but I couldn't have an opportunity to apply for because of age restriction. And at the same time, I also established an NGO advocating the right of people with disability. And I start raising awareness on the rights of issue of disability. Okay, I believe on a quote that if one door closes and then others open. So in 2007, I received a Chevening scholarship to the master in the UK and continue my doctoral degree by support from the World Bank. During my time, my experience in the UK totally different from Indonesia. They have a long list of support given to disabled people so we can enjoy the study. And during my master times, there were 3 wheelchair users, 2 blinds, 1 deaf, and even 7 or 8 non-disabled students. We are in the same place, in the same class, in the same subject. We learn together. So I learned how policies should be applied in favor for disabled people. Most of facilities disabled friendly. So I gained my freedom to go independently everywhere with my chair because no barrier at all. And even I can stand on the first time after 17 years sitting on my chair. And finally, no one limits me. I can reach my dream to achieve, to obtain the highest level of education. And I deserve to have doctor to attach my name. So to me, that my disability is the greatest gift from God. So I have a grateful life during the long journey. I have privileges that many people doesn't have. So having such blessing, I inspire to share what I have right now to everyone. So to me, I believe that education is the best weapon to change the world. I am who I am right now because I have a better education. So I encourage disabled people in Indonesia should be given opportunity to enjoy study until the highest level. And UGM, I encourage the university to establish disability service that can provide service to make sure disabled people doesn't have any barrier, how they can fulfill all their potential. They can be anything they want as disabled, as non-disabled student. And I promise, dedicated myself to have a fighter for better education for our future and inclusive education for all. So to me, that the greatest achievement in our life is doing something that people think that you cannot do. So for disabled people, we need opportunity, not your empathy. Thank you.